Hi Cancer, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. It's Veroosh and we're going to talk about the beginning of the year today and the 4 major transits that are affecting us. And we're doing a sun, moon, rising reading for your sign today using astrology and tarot. I'm sorry I have not been around. I was sick, and so you may hear some of the leftover illness in my throat. I have an overreactive cough mechanism, so don't worry about me. I'm fine. You know, I had some pre-existing conditions when I was a kid, and now I cough really easy, so don't worry about me. I'm okay. The other message is that we turned off comments for today's video, so all the sign videos don't have comments. We will have comments open on the collective video, so just enjoy the video and leave me a like if you like. Members, there's an extended for you in the description, so there will be a tarot card reading at the end once I'm finished this part. And then there is also, if you want a reading with me, then just go into the description. I know what I'm doing with my site. Everything's fine, but go into the description if you want to get a reading with me. Okay, so why don't we take a look at the astrology and we can go through it and read some cards. So overall, your chart is divided in half right now. And so sometimes it happens that all the planets are on one side of the zodiac. This is a chart for beginning of December when Mars was still behind the South Node. But once December came and Mars entered into Sagittarius, where it is now, all the planets, this is series so it doesn't count, were on one side of the zodiac. And that's pretty significant. For you, it gives a highlight into relationships, in your interactions on a daily basis, partnerships, intimacy, those kinds of things. But your world is opening up as well through the beginning of the year, in which you're really looking outward, and that will continue until the spring. So it's relationships that are important, as well as this outward looking perspective. Not so much in terms of focusing on yourself, not so much being at home. Definitely being out there with people more will be your priority at this time. Okay, so there's 4 transits, as I said, and I'll do a reading for each one. I will also do in-depth readings for each one moving forward, but let's begin with this. So we have South Node in Sagittarius, North Node in Gemini, transiting into Taurus and Scorpio at the beginning of January through the end of December or beginning of January. It's about a month-long transit period. The nodes will be in these respective signs until July 2023. So for you, this is significant in the effect that for you, your social life, your friendships will become more and more important as the North Node transits the 11th house. Definitely for some of you, technology is going to become a staple, such as computer programming, crypto. If you have placements in Cancer, you may be drawn to electronic things at this time. So anything to do with technology might be a priority. And you might find great success with that over the next year and a half, because Uranus is in the 11th house, who's the ruler of the 11th house in the sign of Aquarius. In your chart, it's Taurus that rules it, but still Uranus is the ruler of the 11th house. So you have this predisposition to understand technology, see opportunities, and go after them if you want. And it's true for Sun, Moon, Rising Cancer. I know there's a lot of people kind of getting up on their pedestal and saying, oh, it's only rising. No, it's Sun, Moon, Rising. It'll affect all your transits. There's a chart like this for every single placement. So this is just a general chart that you're looking at so that I can speak to all of you. But your individual charts are quite varied, and there's a placement. There's a chart for every single placement. So meaning Sun, Moon, Mars, Jupiter, they all get a chart. So don't worry about, anyone telling you it has to be your rising sign. If you have anything significant in Cancer, this message is for you. I would be pretty excited about that. Increase in social life, priority to increase your social life, and then also, opportunities in tech. We'll get into that more another day. But your South Node is entering the 5th house. So, you know, we've talked about this. I think the first time I was learning how to teach astrology, right? When I started this channel, and it's gotten much better. And I remember one of the first things that I figured out was Pluto in the 7th house for Cancer, to kind of how much it was impacting it. Teaching you guys the astrology, or sharing with you guys the astrology, was a compliment to like how to conceptualize how things are going for your chart. And I remember like years back seeing Pluto in the 7th, and I was like, wow, that's really significant for Cancer. So I don't mean to like repeat myself, but Pluto in the 7th, I would say, is your biggest transit right now. It's the one that impacts you very intensely. And it's going to end very soon, which is going to be a big relief for many of you. Pluto in the 7th house is like heavy relationship experiences. And Cancers really are invested in their relationships, invested in their partnerships. So to have extreme experiences in your partnership house can be daunting or difficult or overwhelming at times. So Pluto's on its way out of Capricorn, out of your 7th house. It's going to be fully out by 2024, but will begin to shift next year. So be excited about that. Why is the South Node important with regard to Pluto? Well, when we're having difficult relationships with others, partnership issues come up, then there's a lot to let go of, and the 5th house is romance. So if there's some kind of stains that you've experienced, jadedness with regard to your heart, with regard to how you love and romance and just being open to love, as the South Node transits Scorpio, you're going to do a lot of healing with regard to that. So if you don't feel like you'll ever be with someone now, once the South Node transit ends in 2023, July, you may feel completely different, and you might feel very rested. So that's kind of excited for your sign. So it's kind of a compliment for that Pluto transit to clean up whatever has happened and whatever kind of scars it's left behind. Okay, so now let's see your cards. We have Moon in a Taurus, which is the 6 of Pentacles, generosity, reciprocity, a focus on sharing with others, releasing maybe too many, codependent attachments, which means codependency, in short, is just being with the wrong person because you're afraid to leave, right? So you know somebody's not being nice to you, Ace of Pentacles, but yet you stay. And so there may be like an accumulation of that in your 5th house right now, and as the South Node goes through that, it clears it out. But, so if you have some kinds of codependencies with others that are hurting you, right away, even now, you're going to be feeling a real focus towards other people. And so you'll be feeling, even before the South Node goes through, you'll be feeling like you're done with situations in which you gave more than you received, right? You're getting really good cards. So I'm expecting your friends to offer you some kinds of financial breakthroughs, opportunities through friends. Something exciting is coming up, something to do with money, fairness. You're in a good situation here. There's going to be good social situations that give back, so it's not just one-sided. The next message is we have the 5 of Cups, which is a fair bit of sadness and disappointment. Maybe this has to do with the 5th house. And then we have the 2 of Cups. And again, I'm going to do another video just for the North Node in Taurus for you, but this is just an introduction, and the Magician. So I do feel like you're turning your back on a situation or patterns of codependency that you felt in the past. And it doesn't make you like sad or pathetic to have had experiences that were that way. So and we all kind of have those experiences. So it's your time to clear that kind of stuff out. I think that your heart is really connecting with some people here. We have the 2 of Cups and the Magician. And it's so easy to turn away from whoever it was that was hurtful or damaging to you or difficult. There's things that you're excited about moving forward, and you have a lot of energy. You're excited about new things. That's kind of Uranian energy, you know, the new is showing up. The Fool is ruled by Uranus, so there you go. So breakthroughs, opportunities, wonderful opportunities, like just new things to think about, essentially. Okay, so the next transit that I want to highlight for you guys is Jupiter in Pisces. And you can see Jupiter in Pisces right in the 9th house now. Now, Jupiter is also the ruler of the 9th house, but in the sign of Sagittarius. Jupiter also rules the sign of Pisces in the 12th house, but you have a pretty strong 9th house there, Cancer. It's a pretty good one. This year, Jupiter is going to create a conjunction with Neptune on April 8th. For you, it's going to be probably one of the best ones because it's right at the top of your chart. Jupiter meeting Neptune is going to be a miracle. Something amazing is going to happen for all of us. But if you have Cancer placements right at the top of your chart, essentially don't worry about it. Go live your life. Feel good. Be open. Something's coming your way. Let me tell you the times when Jupiter is in Pisces. So last year, Jupiter was in Pisces from May through July. Look back to last year and see what kind of themes started coming up for you when it was there. This year, Jupiter has entered into Pisces on December 29th or 28th, and then will continue through Pisces into Aries in May. I think it's like mid-May. And then once it'll go through Aries a bit and then retrograde back into Pisces, and will continue in Pisces for October, November, and a bit of December. So you'll get 2 transits of Piscean Jupiter in your 9th house. And what is it going to do? It's going to bring a lot of opportunities into your life. It's a very magical transit, and the fact that it's joining Neptune makes it even more magical. The last time Jupiter and Neptune were in Pisces was 1856, so before even our grandparents were born. So it really looks like magical moment. You're very lucky that you're a Cancer sun, moon, or rising because it's happening in your 9th house. Expect a miracle. Expect world expansion for yourself. That means an expansion of opportunities. We'll talk about it more in a dedicated video, okay? I just wanted to give you a heads up that something good is coming. Essentially, the next 2 years will be very powerful for Cancer because Jupiter is right at the top of your chart. So be excited. I'm excited for you. I'm a Virgo, so my Jupiter is climbing to the top of the sky, and I'm excited about that. Okay, so let's see. So I'm up next in the next couple of years. It's my turn. So it's kind of like going to the top of the what is it called? The amusement park ride. You know, the roller coaster. I forgot the word. Okay, so let's see the next message. We have the Strength card, which is Leo. So that's Leo energy. Leo energy is understated right now. All of the summer, late summer, early fall transits don't have many transits at this time. All the big planets are out in the winter side of the zodiac, the early spring, winter side. But Leo is strong coming up for you. We will get a full moon in Leo, right? So that's exciting soon, in a couple months. Probably in February or January. I don't remember which one. Then we have 7 of Wands. That's also a Leo card. It's like Jupiter in Leo, or maybe Mars. And then we have Hermit, Virgo energy. So to me, it just looks like zero in on yourself. This, with Jupiter in this chart, you don't really want to pay attention to, well, you want to pay attention to the world and welcome it in, but you also don't want anything to distract you because it's your time to get as much out of the world as you can. So don't go along with other people's agenda. That's the 7 of Wands. Go do your own thing. There's a little bit of Hermit energy, which is Virgo, which means you need to do your own thing, you know? You need to step away from, you know, getting distracted by others' opinions. Don't allow your partner to tell you this or that. Know what you need to do and embrace it. The next message is the Hierophant, which is the card of Taurus. So Taurus energy is very strong. We talked about the North Node in the 11th house. I'm feeling very good for your cards. They're looking, Aries, you're getting all these amazing cards. So Aries, Emperor is next. Strong Mass. So we'll get to this because there's a lot happening in your 7th house of partnership. This is just reinforcing that there's some type of very serious relationship that you're a part of. There's very powerful connections between you and people around you. And we have the 10 of Wands. I do feel as though you're very susceptible for attracting leeches. So in other words, you have something going on that's positive, energetically speaking, all these transits we're talking about. And so people feel that around you intuitively, and they latch on. So you want to make sure that while you're having this transit, which is temporary, it's temporary for all of us, that you don't allow other people's imposition on your energy. Whether it's your friend, a family member, your partner, whoever it is, make sure that you're watching out for yourself. Some of you might be feeling very pressured by a community. This area can be associated with like a community group or like people that you feel responsible to, not in a non-monetary sense. So, you know, like a group of friends that you're responsible to. And so you really want to watch out at this time from imposition, because it feels like they're weighing you down in some way. That's the Ten of Wands. And I think your answer is to sort of not necessarily end the relationship, but definitely back out of it and take care of yourself, take care of your own discernment. Because people like shiny things, but once they don't, as a group, not as individuals, people are very bad at nurturing healthy things. We as groups tend to tear things down, right? That's why famous people become famous, and then very quickly we find fault with them and tear them down. As a collective, there's the negativity within the collective. There's tears down the positivity. So, you know, I think it's very important to kind of be mindful of that and turn your back on it. And it could be very like friendly, and at first it could be. People are attracted to it, so they're excited about it. But then as a collective, they don't know what to do with it. And you shouldn't put your life on the line for other people's fulfillment, etc. So take care of yourself, open up to the world, see what happens. There's a big opportunity coming. Some of you are going to get proposals. Some of you are going to get proposals. And this feels almost religious. So those of you who are more religious, there may be like a very like traditional type of marriage. But then there's also positivity coming to you in terms of school, which is the Hierophant. And the ninth house is about education. So if you guys are doing a lot with school or hoping to go back to school, especially like graduate school or something like that, this is your time to take those steps. So, okay, 2 more transits. So it's important to highlight what's going on in Capricorn. I already talked about it at the beginning in case you just jumped in. But 7th house is your partnership house. We've been talking about it since the beginning of my channel, as it's the one that's been impacting you for years. The reason it's been impacting you for years is Pluto's a very slow transit. It moves 1 to 2 degrees a year. So pretty much the entire time I've had the channel, not pretty much, but the entire time I had the channel, we had Pluto in Capricorn. And it's a big deal. So how does it affect Cancer people? Well, the way that it affects Cancer people is that extreme experiences in partnerships and relationships. And what's important about December, January, and February is that 2 retrograde periods. One of them is Venus retrograde that began on December 19th and will continue till January 28th. The last time Venus was retrograde in Capricorn was like 2014, 8 years ago. And so anything, it's a cycle with Venus, and we'll go into it in another video as well. But it's important to understand that Venus is unpacking those serious relationships, serious partnerships, resolving issues that have been left outstanding. And so now you are working through those qualities. You're improving upon addressing outstanding issues. If you have an ex-partner, ex-husband, ex-wife who has been detrimental to you or with whom there's outstanding issues, Venus retrograde might give you an opportunity to resolve aspects of that. So be excited about that. There's another retrograde that I'll talk about next, but first let's see how Venus retrograde is working in your 7th house, and we'll talk about it later in more depth. Okay, so first we have the 7 of Cups. This is Venus in Scorpio, actually. And then we have the King of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transit in fire, Sag, Leo, or Aries. The next energy is the King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. There could be some illusion between who is who and what is what. So you may be involved in a relationship that confuses you with another person. You might be reminded by another person a lot. So you may be with someone while thinking about another. But it feels as though you're being drawn towards two energies. The King of Pentacles, which is more of the grounded, earthy person, and the romantic King of Cups. He's the one who's a spiritual partner, a very emotionally driven person. And they can be men or women, any sign, but it's pointing to the fact that there's split consciousness here between two people. The next energy is the Justice card, justice, fairness. Whenever justice comes up in readings like this, and we're looking at a stacked house like this, stacked means there's a lot of planets in it. I really want to say to people, like, be careful of your karma. Be careful how you choose. Like, if there is something going on that in which there's, multiple alliances or multiple promises being offered in different directions, make sure you're not breaking somebody's heart or going against somebody's energy. And if they're doing that to you, then, rest assured things will become just and fair. Justice is also ruled by Libra. Again, there's no transits here, but it could involve a Libra person for some of you. And then we have Temperance, which is Sagittarius. So that's the area of the chart in your 6th house. Okay, so take it slow. You're not seeing something about the situation with regard to a partner. There's more information that you still need to gather about a situation. So be patient. So many people get upset because, so many people get upset because they get, because they're being told 20% of the information, 30%, and that information is engaging them or hooking them in some way, and they don't know the rest. And it's the fact that they don't know that's upsetting them, that's worrying them. And so they want to act on the 30% that they know. But it's important to kind of realize that, give it time, more information will come in. I think this situation that you're involved in will resolve itself. And in time, more information will come in that will give you a better perspective. So even though you feel triggered by the information you know now, there's more to the story, there's more information, so give it time. The other kind of context that this could be happening in is in your work. So it could be a couple different bosses, a couple different financial opportunities pulling you in different directions. What my suggestion for this is, regarding the transits that you're having here, which are very positive, the next few years will be awesome for Cancer. I think that given the transits, don't be in a rush to do anything at this time. Allow things to fall in of their will. Don't be passive, meaning don't sit on your couch and hope for tomorrow. Still, do what you need to do to get what you need done. But in terms of conflictual situations or where you feel like your back's up against a wall, then definitely just know that, you're going in a good direction, and over the next few years, a lot of things will work out. If you rush things, then I feel like there's more chance for error. So you really want to go slow at this time. Okay, so last transit is Mercury retrograde. So you saw Mercury turn retrograde at 10 degrees Aquarius on the 14th of January. That's the day after I'm filming this. And then it will turn station right there on February 3rd through the 4th and move direct back into Aquarius. So you can see how many planets are here in Capricorn in your 7th house, right? So when was the last time that there was so many planets in the 7th house? In 2019 and 2020, we had Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter and the South Node in Capricorn, right? 2019, 2020. Well, what started in 2019? There's something very famous. There's a pretty intense kind of set of transits. And when you look back on the chart, you go back 10,000 years, you go forward 5,000 years. There's similar things, but nothing like this. So this conjunction that happened was a once-in-a-lifetime event, and once in a civilization, human civilization, modern civilization event. So it's very, very far-reaching consequences. We'll be talking about this for years. And so that's mundane astrology, but for your individual chart, You guys went through a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if people with Cancer placements in Venus, Sun, Rising, Moon didn't have very powerful experiences with others in the partnership dynamic. Bosses, partners, relationships, right? And so those happened 2019, 2020, whatever those were. I believe this Venus retrograde and the ability to communicate about them, which is Mercury retrograde that's starting tomorrow, is going to unpack some of that and set you free. So if you feel like 2019, 2020, put your back up against the wall a little bit. I feel like Venus retrograde will move the heart a little bit to allow things to progress. And Mercury retrograde right there will also help by communicating, opening communications. So particularly if you have an ex-partner, ex-husband, ex-wife with whom you're not communicating, not to resolve the relationship, for some maybe if that's what's needed, but if you're kind of caught up in a relationship because there's no communication and you need to talk about some things before you say goodbye, this may happen through this time. It's especially through this time from the 14th of January till the 28th, when both Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde are happening. There's other things to talk about, but we'll dedicate some more videos to that in a more detail. Okay, so let's see what's going on for Mercury retrograde, and then we'll film the video for the members. So we have Tower. Oh, big stuff. Like I'm telling you, it's a big deal, and it's going to be significant for your life. We have Strength. So I feel like, I mean, the entire time I've had the channel, I feel like you've been going through an overhaul in your life. And I get readings with Cancers coming in who say, like, the last decade has been rough. It's because Pluto moves so freaking slowly that you're being confronted with big questions in the most sensitive area of your chart, one of the most sensitive areas of your chart. We have the High Priestess next. So it looks like in the past there was a very traumatic situation. Something was uprooted. And I feel like you found personal strength and great insight. So there's this kind of, you understand, you've looked behind the curtain. That's a reference to Wizard of Oz. So you see the little man. So in other words, you have gained perspective with regard to what happened. The next message is the Eight of Pentacles, Sun in Virgo. Then we have the Nine of Swords, Mars in Gemini. Oh, I pulled two cards. Good. So Seven of Wands. I think somebody's not heard. Seven of Wands is Jupiter in Leo. So I basically think that you've been sitting on some information that you have not said. So either you were dealing with someone who didn't treat you well and you just enabled it because codependency came up right there as well. And they never heard from you how you told them, well, you treated me like crap, so there was never that opportunity. And so they may be feeling fine with the situation. People are audacious. Like that's my takeaway from the last 2 years. People have the audacity. Like they do bad things and they don't even think that they're doing them. They're just entitled, right? And so whoever you're dealing with may be feeling like they didn't do anything wrong, like they're not at fault. You know, the blew situation off. And I think some reckoning is coming. And I think some reckoning for them is coming through your self-awareness, through you understanding and healing the bits that they hurt, and you telling them with the Nine of Swords. It's going to wreck them, but not like in a mean way. But I think it's going to really, really shake them up, because I think that it took some time for you to get back on your feet again. And I think that when you say something, Mercury retrograde, the thing you didn't say before, I think it's going to be like awe-inspiring. So not to be hurtful, but to be truthful and honest. I think you see, or maybe you've been gaslit and you didn't even realize how bad it was what they did. Maybe they convinced you they didn't do anything wrong. And now a few years went by and you're like, that was really messed up that they did that to me. Whatever it is, I feel like you're going to stand up for yourself. And if you're not in touch with that person, it might come through in another experience, in another opportunity to say what you have to say. Okay? So members, we're going to go and look at your cards deeper. In the members, I'm not doing so much astrology, a little bit here and there, but go and check it out. And thank you for waiting. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for Cancer. Have a nice day. Happy New Year. Bye.